In this video, we'll explore the chain of responsibility design pattern in PHP, a behavioral pattern that lets requests move along a chain of handlers until one processes them. We'll begin with why this pattern matters, and then we'll examine the UML structure. We'll talk about some code, and then we'll finish this video with a SWOT analysis. If you enjoy learning design patterns this way, please like this video and subscribe. You can also visit my websites, thereadycode.com and thereadycode.org. Follow me on X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Let's get started with the chain of responsibility design pattern in PHP. What is the chain of responsibility design pattern? The chain of responsibility is a behavioral design pattern that lets you pass a request through a chain of handlers where each handler decides whether either to process the request or pass it to the next handler in line. Think of it like a help desk ticket system. Your request moves up the support chain until someone has authority or the ability to resolve it. Why would I use it in PHP? When multiple classes could handle a request and you don't want the sender to know which one will do it. When you want to decouple the sender and receiver, making the system easier to maintain. We need a flexible structure for handling requests such as logging, form validation, or middleware. Benefits of using it in PHP. Enables clean separation of concerns by letting each handler focus on a specific task. Makes your code extensible, allowing you to add, remove, or reorder handlers without breaking other parts. Reduces tight coupling between components that send and handle requests. The chain of responsibility UML ORM for PHP students. Handler defines the interface for handling requests. Stores a reference to the next handler. Forwards requests if it can't handle them. Concrete handler handles requests it is responsible for. Decides whether to process or forward. Passes unhandled requests to successor. Client sends requests to the first handler. Does not know which handler processes. Relies on the chain for handling. Hello, my name is Ray. I'm Ray in the Ray Code. In this video, I plan to review the design pattern called chain of responsibility. I'll be using PHP, and for those version geeks, I'll be using PHP 7.5. This pattern allows a request to be passed along a chain of handlers. Each handler decides either to process the request or pass it to the next handler in the chain. We start with the handler interface. The handler defines the interface for all handlers. We require a setNext method which receives a handler object. This will be a link to the next handler. And a method to handle the process to forward the request, which returns a string request object. Let's create an abstract class called abstract handler. Here is a class structure, and we'll make it an abstract class. And this will be implemented by the handler interface. We have a particular variable we call next handler, and we set that to null. We add a function to setNext, which takes a handler object and returns a handler object. And we create a default handler method. If I can't handle it, I'll pass it to the next. Let's create an object we call concrete handler A. It will be extended by the abstract handler. The purpose of concrete handler A is that it handles specific A string requests. We extended this class with the abstract handler, so we need to require that at the top. We create a method to handle a string request that returns a string. If the request is a string A, we return the string handler A, I handle the request. If it does not, we return the next handler in the chain. We can do the same with another class we call concrete handler B. We extend it with the abstract handler. We have a function handle that takes a request object. If the request object is a string B, we return the string handler B, I handle the request. Else, we delegate to the next handler in the chain. We'll create one more class we call Concrete Handler C. It too will require the abstract handler at the top, so we'll be able to extend this class with it. We get a function that if the request is equal to C, we will return handler C. I handle the request, else it is ignored and returned. I think we are ready for our demo, so let's go over to the index page. At the top, we include the files that we just created, Concrete Handler A, B, and C. We set up the chain A to B, B to C. We create an array of items to pass through our method, and we echo string repeating it with dash separators. I think we are ready for this demo. We get client who can handle A, handler A, I handle the request. Client who can handle B, handler B, I handle the request. Client who can handle C, handler C, I handle the request. Client who can handle D, no handler can handle the request. My name is Ray, always code with a smile. SWOT analysis of the chain of responsibility design pattern in PHP. S. Strength promotes flexibility by allowing dynamic addition or removal of handlers. Makes request processing modular and maintainable. Helps reduce large conditional statements by delegating responsibility to separate classes. W. Weakness. Can make debugging harder if requests suddenly pass through the entire chain. Performance may degrade if chain grows too long. Overuse may introduce unnecessary complexity for simple scenarios. O. Opportunities. Helps PHP developers learn to build middleware like request pipelines. Encourages thinking in terms of responsibility, delegation, and object collaboration. Provides a framework for larger frameworks, e.g. PSR 15 middleware in Laravel Symfony. T. Threats. Misordered handlers may result in incorrect or missed request handling. If handlers are too tightly coupled, it defeats the purpose of the pattern. Lack of proper exit conditions may cause infinite loops or unhandled requests. Well, that was my video. Please find me on all the social media accounts like Facebook, X, LinkedIn. Also visit my websites, theraycode.org and theraycode.com. I keep them separate. For one is for classes I sell, and the other one is for a blog that I keep. Invite a friend to theraycode.com or raycode.org or Raycode YouTube. Become the Raycode.groupie, a groupie.